Hey folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC. Alright, I've had some people say, you know, you show us forward programming, you're using an NX10 and it's all nice and handy for that. Well, now I'm going to show you how to do forward programming and setting up a simple model on a DX9. This is an updated DX9 and it has the ability to do forward programming. Now I've already bound up the aircraft, which is off to our left here. I'm not going to show you the aircraft, I'm just going to stay on the screen. But mainly what I'm wanting to show is how you go about forward programming and setting it up on a DX9. Okay, so I've already bound the aircraft. I've already verified that all my, this is important, that all the control surfaces are working the right way. So if I go right aileron, they work. If I pull up on the elevator, it goes the right way. If I go on the rudder, it goes the right way. I verify that's most important. I've bound the aircraft and all my control surfaces are going the right way. I cannot stress that enough. Before you do any forward programming, make sure all your control surfaces are going in the right direction. Now, if you have retracts and flaps, they're not really important at this point. All right, you're going to go down here to forward program. I know in the past, I've said go ahead and set up a flight mode. We're not going to worry about that. We're going directly to forward programming. Okay? You're going to go to gyro settings and you're going to do your first time setup. Okay? Now, don't worry about that. You've already made sure that everything's working and everything's the way it's supposed to be. You're going to set the model level. Okay? Which I'm doing now. Make sure the model's level. Well, what would be flight level? So, in other words, well, we're just going to say it's flight level. Okay, and hit continue. Okay. Now it knows the orientation. You hit continue again. And now, and this is something I've been doing lately, which makes life a whole lot easier. You're going to go to gain channel select. Okay. And in this case, I'm using this roller up here. So I like using, we don't want to inhibit it. We want it to be on the aux3 on this knob up here. That way in flight, if she's oscillating, I can dial the gains back. If she's getting knocked all over the place because of the wind, then I can dial them up a little bit to compensate. We'll lock that in and hit next. So our gain, and then we're going to hit apply. Already done that. Okay. All right. Model's going to reboot. It's doing this little dance. Okay. Now we're going to go back to forward programming again. All right. Gyro settings. And now we're going to go, don't worry about, I know in the past I said we do the flight mode, you set up your 3 flight modes and yada, yada, yada. Don't worry about it. I have found that unless you're going to be using flight modes that have, like for flight modes for landing approaches, flight modes for flaps, and just that and the other for a whole different set of ball of wax, leave this alone for right now. For just regular, just leave it alone. Just trust me. Just leave it alone. Go to first time setup because it's going to pick it anyways. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Take your channel. I like having safe, and then I like to have the other 2 channels to be AS3X. That's just me. I know it's a waste of a 3-position switch, but let's just use this B. I'm going to use B. Okay, so we're going to go down here. We don't want inhibited. We want B. Auxiliary 2. It's going to be B, and we'll go down to next. Okay. For a flight must be continued. Well, configured. Well, we did. So we'll hit continue. All right. Now look at the position of the switch. It's closest to me. That is the 3rd position. All right. Since it's been picked, now watch what happens when I go to 2, the middle, and then I go to 1, flight mode 1. So see, this is why I say skip that initial flight mode set, because the forward programming is going to do it anyways. All right, so we're going to go to flight mode 1. We're going to stay there. That position switches all the way down. And if you did this on a 2-position switch, it'd be flight mode 1 and 2. It would be the same way. If you had a 10-position switch, you'd have flight modes 1 through 10. Okay, We already know that. Okay, we hit save, hit next. All right, we got the model leveled. Okay, now I got it sitting on its tail, and it's a tail dragger, so the pitch is going to be off, but that's okay. I'm just for demonstration purposes, and we're just going to say that's okay. Normally, you want to position the aircraft in such a way to where both of those numbers are as close to 0 as you can get. That way, you're capturing level flight. See, if you look at the model right now, it's sitting on its tail, right? Well, that's not level flight. I'm just doing this for a demonstration purposes. I'm not going to take the time to, because what you would do is you would hold the tail. Here, let me go over here. You would hold that tail up, hit that level, and then capture that level position. You kind of hold it, put on a couple books or something underneath the tail. You want to capture, but we're just going to leave. You'd want both these numbers to be as close to 0 as possible. Okay. Hit next. All right, and so safe. They got the preset settings for safe on flight mode 1. Okay, hit next. Then you're going to hit apply. Now it's got to reboot. Hear the plane doing its little dance. Okay. Unclick it. Go back to forward programming. Go back to gyro settings. Okay. Let's look at AS3X real quick. All right. That's okay. Let's look at our safe settings. All right. Here's where we need to be. We're in flight mode 1. The switch is furthest away. Now, what happens when I go to flight mode, the middle? It switched to flight mode 2 automatically. And then flight mode 3. But you notice nothing's changing on the screen, right? Ain't nothing changing. I went back to flight mode 1. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select that. And I want that to be at self level. Okay. Now I'm going to go to flight mode 2, pull to the middle. And only AS3X is activated. And then flight mode 3 the same way. So that means that if I go back to flight mode 1, all right, I'm going to hold the camera. This is where we're not having someone to help you gets funky. I'm in flight mode 1, which is safe, right? Okay, you can pick up the camera. All right, now watch that aileron. Okay, it's starting to pick up on its own and hold its positions. Same thing with the other aileron. All right, watch the. Oh gosh, this is like hard to do. Okay. Oh, sorry. Trying to see it on the screen, but trust me, the elevator is and holding its position up. See how it's leveling back off? Now it's holding the position up. Okay. I'm sitting at the table trying to do this and hold this camera on a tripod. All right. So now we know that in flight mode 1, we know that safe is working. Okay, so let's go to flight mode 2. All right, we're going to go to flight mode 2. Let me reposition the camera. I'll pause for just a second. Okay. Okay. Now, in flight mode 2, you know what? I don't have my battery. I'll just hold it in place. We know that AS3 should be working. Well, it's not working. How come it's not working? Well, that's real simple. Number one, okay, let me get the prop going. Oh, I gotta get out of here real quick. Okay. Okay. You say, well, you're in flight mode 2. All right. You hear that? Because now them gyros are working. And the reason for that is we have picked that gain channel. All right. I dialed it all the way up on that gain channel. There's a lot of correction. If I dial that gain channel way down, there's nothing. Okay. And if we switch to on forward programming, No, wrong way, sorry. All right, let's go to flight mode. Notice how it says flight mode 3 is also. If this was a 2-position switch, if I'd put this on the gear channel, we'd only have flight mode 1 and 2. And flight mode 1 would be my safe mode, which I've already shown you. Automatically puts in safe, and then if you or you have to enable it. And then if you go to flight mode 2, my AS3X is active. Same thing for flight mode 3. So the biggest point that I was trying to show with the DX9 is I have to apologize to all for leaving y'all down the flight mode path on the Bigfoot video about setting up your flight modes ahead of time. You can still do that, but it does get a little confusing when you go back in to put in safe, because you're thinking, well, you know, wait a minute, my flight modes is not. The safe, when you set up safe for the first time, it's going to set the flight mode up anyways. All right, and sometimes with the DX9, it wants you to have all your flight modes on one channel, and then you go to 2, it doesn't change. Then you go to 3 or however many, and then it doesn't change for you. So do it just the way I showed you. Don't worry about the flight modes, the initial setup. Let the flight modes get picked once you're in the first time safe setup, and that's when you're going, or the safe setup, that's when you're going to be picking up your flight mode. Get to that screen where you're picking your channel, and either a 3-position or a 2-position switch, whichever you want, and then you won't have any issue with it changing from flight modes. And then, of course, once you can get it to where you can change from flight modes, then you can go on there and have AS3X on or off, or you can have safe on or off, or however way you want to do it. But if you'll just follow how I just showed you, then you shouldn't have any problem with setting up flight modes inside of the forward programming menu on an updated DX9. And that's very important. If your DX9 is not updated with the latest firmware, and if you don't see forward programming as an option, then you don't have it updated. You need to update it. And that's a whole different ball of wax. But take a chip, you have to sign another thing, you take USB, it's a whole different set of videos. But anyways, I hope I didn't make that clear as mud, and showed you how to set up on a DX9. I hope that answers. Some of y'all are having some problems with getting the flight mode to be able to change in the DX9 to where you could actually do your safe and everything. Hopefully that helped you out. If you do it that way, just like I showed you, step by step, then you should not have any issue turning safe on and off and changing what's going on in each of the flight modes. And there you go. Hope this helps. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, then planes.